Hello, people. It's your boy Spam back again with another Manchester United podcast, the first one of the season. Yes, we have not done a prediction video, if I recall correctly, because to be quite frank with you, I've not had time. But we will obviously keep you up to date as the season goes along. As you can see, there are a few changes. First change being Kojo is now a dad. So can we just get a round of applause there? Yes, Kojo. Congratulations, broski. As I was getting comments and stuff, like subscribe to the channel. Everyone's links are down below in the description. And I believe Alice is also tagged in the title as well. So obviously make sure you subscribe to their channels as well. But as you can imagine, we're all in good spirits. Manchester United 2, Liverpool 1. You love to see it. Obviously, we will be discussing that alongside all the transfer news, Casemiro, everything that's going on regarding Manchester United. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comment section. Anyways, without further ado, to introduce the panel, first and foremost, back on after a while. She's going from strength to strength. She's going to get an award sooner or later. We've got Alice back in the building. Alice, how are you doing?
Hello, it's good to be back. Good that we beat Liverpool, so we can actually sit here with a slight smile on our face. And yeah, happy to be back and hoping some transfers are not excuses from the owners.
Yes. We will be getting into that. I'm sure everyone has probably noticed the fact that the Glazers out movement has somewhat died to an extent since the victory. But obviously, we will be covering that as well. But listen, the homie is here. Jerry always gets, you know what? I love Jerry to bits. Me and Jerry's banter on the chat is absolute quality. But today, the guy's questioning my FPL skills, my shouts about Martial, everything regarding transfer news. So we're here to discuss that. The homie is back in the building. Jerry, how you doing, my guy?
I'm good, bro. I'm positive. I'm buzzing. Obviously the group chat it is what it is, man. That's why we love it. So yeah, glad to be on the channel, man.
Yes. You love to see it. Always a pleasure to have the homies here. And last but not least, the co-host for today, like I've already said, aka Dad on duties today. Kojo is in the building. Kojo, my guy, obviously, thank you for taking time on your very busy schedule to be here as well. How are you doing, broski? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Obviously, the group chat today was on fire. It was lovely. So, but it's good to be back on your show, man. And it's been a while, so let's chop it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you love to see it. Obviously, we are referring to the WhatsApp group, which no one else is in. So let's just give it a bit of context. Basically, as you can see from the title, I would say Martial is the glue to Ten Hag system. For me, it was extremely integral in the second half for any success that we had in the game. But as the guys correctly said, we were also fantastic in the first half. So let's just get straight into it. Obviously, Man United beating Liverpool 2-1. I just want to get everyone's thoughts first. Alice, we'll come to you first and foremost, because I kind of obviously spoken to the guys more than yourself in the last couple of days. It's been a couple of days, Alice, but how are you feeling? Obviously, Manchester now finally getting 3 points on the board, a bit of momentum as well, and obviously it was a different showing from the boys.
Yeah, it's I was really happy with the game, and I always said this. We watched United play, and there wasn't one negative really. Sometimes we watch us play and we win, and we're going, "Oh, McFred," or "This player was crap." But I couldn't fault one player on that pitch, which was quite nice. Even McTominay looked quite good. Like, we actually looked good all over. The subs had an impact. And the one thing I loved about it was the togetherness. We played as a team. Like, that's one of the first times in a while where it's not been an individual moment to get us the win or something. We played as a team. Everyone fought for each other. Everyone ran for each other. I thought absolutely brilliant. But my only thing is, I'm happy with the performance. I'm going to smile. We beat Liverpool. But how many times have we seen this United side have one really good game and then they go back to crap? And I said to people, because I did a video, I said the only thing is Southampton. We've got to do this against Southampton. Are they just up for it because they've had a bit of stick? It's Liverpool. Or actually, is this going to be the turning point? Because I think they need to take this win as the confidence boost of actually you can win games, you can beat sides. But I'm worried. I still don't have trust in the players. It's happens with Liverpool. I still can't trust them to turn up versus Southampton. If they turn up and do that against Southampton and win, and whoever's next after Southampton, then we've got Arsenal coming up, then I'm like, this is brilliant. But is this just a one-off game? Because I remember we beat Brentford 3-0. We put some of the olders like Mata and Matic in, and we're like, that was quite a good win versus Brentford. Next game, 4-0 lost to Brighton. And it's just like, this is a brilliant win, but will it continue?
Yeah, no, I completely hear that. I think for me personally, the Southampton game is a massive it's a massive indication of where we are as a football club. Of course, beating Liverpool is always going to be massive for us in terms of the confidence boost, as you mentioned, and it potentially could be a catalyst, which is what we're all hoping, for obviously a change within the mentality and mindset of the players. But for me, it's very easy, as you said, to get up for a Liverpool game. You're at home under the lights with everything that's going on off the pitch. That atmosphere was absolutely electric. Obviously, I had the pleasure of being in the stadium myself, and I know a lot of the people that I've spoken to outside the stadium said the same thing. It was probably one of the best atmospheres we felt. It was like a cauldron, and it wasn't something you'd associate with Old Trafford. So for me, the fans vote for it as well, which obviously galvanised the players. So it's a lot easier for them to get out for it. But as you said correctly, against Southampton, when you're expected to win, when not so much the intensity, but the motivation potentially isn't there. And that's what makes you a world-class player, because every single game you're motivated to get that 3 points. And Coach, will come to you regarding that. Obviously, as a coach yourself, getting your team from 4th to 3rd, all about motivating your players to go again. But listen, obviously, how important is it for us to actually build on this? It's all well and good us saying this a couple of days after, fantastic win. And it was that, but we can't really get carried away as a Man United fan, because as Alice said, we've seen this time and time again. We've won a game, and then the next game is a complete polar opposite performance. So how are you going to this Southampton game?
It's super important to just carry the momentum. It's one of them ones where for a while now, obviously, we haven't trusted the United for a while. We haven't trusted the management. We haven't trusted the staff. We haven't trusted the players on the pitch. That performance against Liverpool, where obviously Alice made the point that not one person had a bad performance, you need to carry that on into the next game. The subs made sense, and everyone played their role perfectly well. Even they were making a point, the commentators, that Ronaldo was only getting 5 minutes. But in those 5 minutes, he did what exactly he needed to do. He was there defensively when we tried to go forward. He was there helping the attack. Everyone played their role and played to perfection. We need to carry the momentum going forward. It is easy to get excited and ready for a game against Liverpool, but last season we didn't have that. We got beaten 5-0 or 4-0. So we had that. They had that this week, or last weekend rather. We've beaten them quite well. We deserve the win. If they don't use this as a confidence booster to go into the next game to Southampton, who are not a great side, I don't care that they beat Leicester. Leicester are not a great side ever. They're not a great side. You are better on paper and on the pitch than Southampton. You have to go and win this game. If you're serious about it, get back into the Champions League, you have to do your thing. So, yeah, carry the momentum going forward. And I'm sure Ten Hag will be able to do the same thing. So that's up to the players to get into the pitch and do their job.
Yeah, I mean, Ten Hag did say after the game that it's only one game. And everything that he said after the game for me was spot on. It's only one game. It's only 3 points. We need to do this again. And as Jay has correctly said in the chat, by the way, welcome as well to the stream. Consistency is key. And that's the one thing that I'm going to be looking at, not just with obviously our overall performances, but individual performances. It's all well and good getting overhyped to me, bigging up Martial, for example. But as we've already said, consistency is the only thing that matters. I need to see this for a sustained period. So, Jerry, speaking of the players, who were the ones that stood out for you in particular? Is there anyone that you really thought, no, what, fair play to this person needs to be starting next game against Southampton?
I think it's obvious. Obviously, Martinez, man. For me, from minute one, obviously during the week I was pumped for this game. I think me and you predicted 2-1. I said we're winning this game.
No, we both said 2-1.
I was pumped, bro. This whole week leading up to the game, I was gassed. I was positive. I was thinking there's no way they're gonna, embarrass us like they did the week before at Brentford. So yeah, from the first minute, when obviously you guys don't watch the game, my brother's in it, so my brothers were nervous. I was pumped, and when Martinez bumped Salah, that first challenge, and then
I loved it.
They were like, "Oh, what's he doing?" I was like, "Bro, he needs to do that, bro." And from then on, I said, "Yeah, Martinez got the mentality. He's got the dog in him.
He's got the dog in him.
So for me, when I saw that, I said, "Yeah, he's up for it." And then his whole performance, every block, every challenge, the high fives with Varane. For me, he set the tone for the whole team. And for me, yeah, he's the one that really cemented his. Obviously, people had doubts about his height and whatnot. For me, I wasn't concerned, but I was thinking, is this really for the Premier League? But obviously, the Liverpool game, he just cemented that. Yeah, left center back's his. Like people say, he can play in the DM position. For me, obviously now that we've got Casemiro, but even before that, I was saying, nah, he needs to hold left center back for me, because I don't see anyone else that can really play that. I don't want to see Maguire back there. I don't want to see Maguire full stop. But yeah, I don't want to see Maguire back there. So yeah, Martinez, Varane. Just hoping he stays fit this season, man. That's the main thing. I always knew Varane was a good player, but the fitness issues they were taking its toll, and this guy was missing a lot of games. McTominay, yeah, we got to give him.
I honestly thought McTominay was fantastic. I'm not even gonna cap. I thought he was really good.
He was like you see that pass for Elanga's chance. That pass
he should have gotten it. Obviously, Bruno. Obviously, it would have been an assist, but
that was a perfect,
I thought he had a good game. I can't knock him.
Perfect interception, perfect way to pass, and yeah, man, he knew the assignment. So big up Scott for that. Who else? Malacia, like Luke Shaw. I'm sorry, your days are finished. I don't ever see you again, man. I'm sorry. Like Malacia, the tenacity, the whole team, man, the whole energy was right, and yeah, like Alice said, there's not one player that can look at and say he had a bad game or there was any negative. So regarding Southampton, I'm just a bit worried that's an early kickoff, which is a bit.
Bro, it can just ruin your entire weekend.
Yeah, trust me.
Trust me. Oh God, I'm probably more nervous going to the Southampton game than Liverpool, which is probably ridiculous to say given the fact that our record with Liverpool in the last 18 months or so. But I generally thought we'd get up for that game, but the Southampton one is a concern. But just as United said, please do slap a like on the video. It does help us massively, and obviously subscribe to the channel. As I've already said, everyone's links are in the description, so feel free to support them as well. And Alice is in the title, so you obviously can click on that and obviously subscribe to her channel as well. But yeah, just to come back onto obviously what Jerry said, you kind of mentioned Martinez and Malacia in particular. I suppose they have had a lot of plaudits, and rightfully so. In particular, Malacia, for the way he pocketed Salah, for me was absolutely phenomenal, given that it was his first game as such a young lad. The guy was absolutely fearless, and for me, that's what you need. You need that fearlessness, and you saw with Rashford as well. I know a lot of people are criticizing Rashford, but after he scored that goal, yeah, he got a bit fortunate, but he actually took on some players, and he almost scored. Probably should have passed it. I'm not gonna lie. I was a bit pissed off with him. He didn't pass it, but it is whereas he had well within a right to shoot at that point. But the point being is, for me, a lot of our players are confidence players, man. They need to take this. They need to take this confidence into the next game. I kind of want to touch on Martinez, Alice, and Malacia in particular. But regarding what Jerry said with Martinez, do you think that sort of steel, that grit, I wouldn't call it dark horse, but that aggressiveness that Martin has displayed, obviously set the tone, as Jerry rightly said, very straight, very early on with Salah. And if you've seen the clip with Salah's face, if anything, he was taken back and he wasn't expecting it. Obviously, they've come to Man United. They've rolled us over. Let's be real. We basically lied down and died for them the last couple of games against them. Then there was no doubt they were expecting us to obviously come with this sort of tenacity. Do you think that Martinez grit is what we've been missing the most from Manchester United? Because we've been too easy to play against in the last, I don't know, 18 months or so.
What I noticed, like when you watch United try and defend, especially Maguire and Lindelof last season, was we'd have players running at us, and Maguire and Lindelof would just stand off. They go because they don't have the pace or any of that. We stand off them, and they give them so much space. And what Martinez gave is that Vidic vibe, and even Eric Bailly sometimes does it, where they're not afraid to get stuck in. That I sometimes feel like Maguire's afraid and Lindelof's afraid. With Martinez, he was very much like he almost like even though he's only been at United like a couple of weeks, he's almost like he knew the occasion, he knew the rivalry, the United Liverpool rivalry, and I love how he was just like I am getting stuck into everything, like I am not scared, I don't give it F like Mo Salah, whatever. He was just like I'm getting right in there, and I do think that's something that we need, to be fair, because as I said, Maguire, he's very standoffish as a defender. And I think you need your defenders to be a little bit more vicious, get in there. And yeah, I think it really did set the tone, because I think, when he's doing stuff like that and he's up for it, then I feel like it can almost translate to the teammates to be more up for it. Because I just felt like they just woke up the morning in Liverpool and they were just all up for it. Like they were just all in this big pumping mood. And maybe they saw that midfield three of Milner, Harvey Elliott and whoever else it was, and probably thought, actually, we have a chance as well, which I think might have given them a boost as well. Because I think the Liverpool midfield three was crap as well, which I think Ten Hag might have been able to use that to put some belief in them, because they just woke up and I actually felt like they thought they were going to win.
Yeah, no, I think for me personally, when I seen the lineup, I don't know if I put in the chat or not, but when I seen the lineup, I would honestly, I would have been fuming if we lost to that team. I know a lot of people will say obviously Liverpool's still got Salah, Diaz, etc. But for me, I had absolutely no fear of that midfield to do anything against us. I mean, a lot of them aren't technically gifted players. Yes, they're workhorses, the Milners, the Hendersons, and they've been fantastic over the years for Liverpool. But they don't have that technical ability of a Thiago Alcantara. Obviously, Klopp dropped Fabinho because he's been quite poor, so obviously there was a tactical change. But for me, with that Thiago and that team, they don't have that sort of cutting edge, and they were missing that. And for me, it was just a matter of getting onto them and putting them under pressure. And Salah was and is the main threat normally, but Malacia pocketed him. And at the end of the day, Liverpool being found out, and I'm absolutely loving the Liverpool tears. You best believe I've been watching all the content. I've watched it all the tears. I give Bruno Fernandes a lot of stick, but no, I've got to applaud him because the way he has rattled the entire fan base. No, I might actually be wrong about Bruno. He's got it. He's got that shithousery in him, and he's rattled. I've never seen a player like even Herrera didn't rattle him this much. They absolutely hate Bruno, and it's kind of making me like him a lot more. So you know what, Bruno, keep doing your thing, keep pissing everyone off, and you love to see it. Just before we go on to obviously a couple of the topics, in particular Casemiro and what he brings to the team, Coach, I just wanted to talk about the front line. Obviously, we have spoken about it in the chat. I suppose I was going to ask about the centre-back partnership, but I feel like it's a null and void conversation. We're all going to say, obviously, keep the same defence. I don't think anyone will dispute that at the moment. Even Maguire probably wouldn't. But yeah, in terms of the front line, that is where a lot of the question marks are, asked, myself, yourself, Jerry, we've got different opinions on this. So let's chat about it. For me personally, and I've said it already, I think Martial is extremely important to the way we want to play football moving forward. As it says in the title, easy the glue. That is the question of today's show. For me, he is. I know we were fantastic without him in the first half, and Elanga deserves a lot of plaudits for that because he doesn't get enough credit. He didn't get enough credit, actually, for his performance. I thought he absolutely rinsed Trent on numerous occasions, and obviously he got the assist for the first goal. In terms of front line, Coach, where do you sit on that situation? Do you think Martial is as important as his fanboys? You could put me in there as well. Are saying, or do you think Ronaldo probably should start this one?
I don't think Ronaldo should start. Not yet. I mean, because the front three that we had starting the game worked very well, and then Martial came on the pitch obviously because Elanga was injured, and he did his thing as well. Ronaldo doesn't need to start. And we've spoken about that in the past, about rotation, about having options. Having Ronaldo as an option is an incredible option in itself. But he's also 37, 38, so he doesn't need to start. My issue with the Martial thing is, in the past, and he's had performances like this in 90 minutes, let alone 45, where he's been so fantastic. The link-up play, good runs in behind as well. But my issue is the consistency. Obviously, you can't find consistency if you're not playing. But if he is going to play, which is fine, I just need to find that consistency. This season's a big year for him. That's why I'm putting so much. That's why myself, anyway, I don't know about others, but I'm putting so much pressure on him because he went on loan to Sevilla and that was a bust, and it didn't work out for whatever the reason. It just didn't work out. And you've come back to United. You are staying. The man just convinced you to stay. You wanted to leave beforehand. You're staying. So it's a big year for you. It's a big year for everyone, but more so for him because he's got a point to prove. If he is the glue for Rashford and Sancho, or be it Anthony if he comes, or Gakpo, or whoever else, Elanga on the wing, if him and Ronaldo can play together, if he's going to be that guy, he needs to be consistent. That's the one thing I've missed from Martial for a long time now, consistency. He had a great year, and then the next year was a bust. Then he went to Sevilla, it didn't work out either. So I need him to perform. I don't mind him starting on the weekend. If Elanga's not fit, it's between those two for me. I know it's crazy to say with Ronaldo, I'm not putting Ronaldo in the picture, but Elanga on the left worked, and when Martial came on as number 9, Rashford on the left, that worked also. So whoever starts doesn't bother me out of those two. I just need, if it is Martial, I need him to show that same thing. I do not want him to have a game where it doesn't work out maybe in the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and he sulks his way throughout the game and gets subbed off. We don't need that Martial back. We need the Martial that we know that has the quality to terrorize most defenses in football, let alone in the Premier League. But I just miss that consistency from him. So this year, that's why I'm putting pressure on him this year, because Ronaldo was in a crap team last year and still scored as many goals as possible. So no matter what we talk about playing styles and all that, he did his job last year. A lot of people didn't. He did. Martial needs to do his job this year. If he doesn't do it, it's going to be the same old from me. But that's why I'm putting pressure on him.
Yeah, no, I agree with I agree with the pressure on him first and foremost. I think him and Rashford, they fall under the same umbrella. Maybe you can throw Bruno Fernandes in there as well, potentially. I'm not 100% sure. But I think, well, actually, you probably could, given his age. I think them three in particular, I'm not talking about statistically here, by the way. I'm talking about in terms of performance that they need to deliver for me consistently. Bruno Fernandes, for whatever reasons, fallen off a cliff. Marcus Rashford, exactly the same. Happy that he got his goal. I think hopefully, that would be a massive boost for him confidence-wise. And Martial as well, as you said correctly, they've all been very inconsistent. And that's been the biggest issue at Manchester United. A lot of the players have been consistent. But my thing is, the reason I'm backing Martial more this season than I've done in previous season is because I don't think they've got an excuse not to perform. I think the system is tailor-made for them to flourish. In previous years, I wouldn't say there is a direct system for said individuals to really be at their best. And I'm not making an excuse for them because obviously you can say their work ethic, their mindset, etc., or also contribute to them not performing to a higher standard week in, week out. But I think with Ten Hag, he understands the player that Martial is. The comments that he made, I don't know if it was after the Liverpool game or before, basically saying the first two games, they're not a write-off, but basically we didn't have our main player. Martial was extremely integral in the preseason. I thought Martial was extremely key. Okay, granted against very poor position, but extremely key to everything good going forward in preseason. I think him, Sancho in particular, linked up fantastically well. Obviously, him and Rashford already had that chemistry from previous years. But the point is, for me, obviously they have to be consistent. That goes without saying. But the reason I think Martial is so important because he offers something different. Of course, Ronaldo is sensational, but he's 37, 38. If this was Ronaldo, 28 years old, playing his strike, this wouldn't even be a conversation because obviously he's the best in the world. But for me, the way Ten Hag wants to play, I think Martial is a perfect mold for me. He's got the capabilities of running behind, obviously, if he's instructed to do so. He's got the capabilities to drop in the hole, link up the player. And you saw for the second goal, he had two players on him. It was a very tight angle as well, and he maneuvered his way fantastically well. The ball stuck to him, and he had the composure to find the pass, and the weight of the pass was fantastic, so Alisson couldn't get to it as well. So there were so many factors just within that moment itself to show me that Martial was at his best in that second half, and I'm hoping if we see that Martial consistently, then he's going to have a fantastic season. So for me, that's why I think it's important that we keep him fit. I think Casemiro will be another one of them players, and I think Varane's going to be another one of them players. I think them three players in particular, for me anyways, I think they're going to be extremely important if we're going to have any success this season. Jerry, what are your thoughts on the Martial chat? Obviously, I know you don't rate him at all. You said Adam Mingy's better than him. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nah. Listen, with Martial, I don't know who I said, but I was glad to have him back this season for me because obviously we don't want to talk about number 11 and that, but the numbers in our attack weren't looking too great, and I feel with Ten Hag coming in, Martial, it could work. But I did say this is his last chance, man. Man's been here since 2015 and he's had, I'll say, 2 good seasons at a push. So, and then he went on loan, like Kojo said, to Sevilla, and their fans weren't having it. So him coming back, I was thinking, listen, the attitude's got to change, man. Like, are you gonna cry because Ronaldo's here, like he did with Lukaku, Zlatan, So for me, last chance. But like you said, the cameo he made in the last game was vintage Martial, man. Like you said, that goal was everything was just perfect, man. The way he trapped the ball, took it round thing. Van Dijk played the pass through, bang, scored. But talking about the Southampton game, I said I will start Ronaldo only for this game. Going forward, I will definitely start Martial as our main number 9. I think that's where we kind of got into an argument because I was just talking about this game in particular. But moving forward, Martial does start for me. But for Southampton, I'm just I don't want to rush Martial back because he's another one that's kind of injury prone. Like even the start of the season, all of a sudden we hear he's out, hamstring injury. We're thinking, what? How did this happen? So for me, just trying to manage his games because then I think we got Leicester on the Thursday, and then we got Arsenal on the Sunday. Yeah. So I don't want to rush him back too much. So if Ronaldo starts, I don't see it as a negative. I think Ronaldo, he will have a point to prove as well, man. Obviously, sitting on the bench ain't nice, and I'll give him the start just to see if he's got that fire in his belly. Like, I'm going to show you why I should be starting. Obviously, the window closes next week, so it's going to be a bit techie if he's staying or going. But for me, I'll give Ronaldo the game. Obviously, set pieces, against Liverpool, I don't think he was quite good at it. We didn't even cross into the box once. So yeah, man, I'll actually start Ronaldo, give him a ego boost, see if he can score a couple goals. Then we'll see how Martial really reacts. Because if
that is a good point, because obviously Martial in past with the Lukaku, Zlatan, Cavani. I mean, there's a clear pattern of players coming in and taking his spot, and he's not reacting in the way I personally think he should be reacting. It's not galvanizing him. Anything is, deterred him away from fighting for his position. Go on, coach.
Can I say though, whoever we start in this game, we need to be Southampton. We need to be chopping. I'm sorry, they can't defend for anything. I don't care if it's Elanga. I don't even care if you bring back Tatis Chong. You need to be destroying this defense. I don't care. I really don't care. Because
to be honest, Southampton, our record away to Southampton ain't that great.
It's not great.
You're right.
The Cavani last minute. Before that,
it was the 3-2 with Cavani, wasn't it? But listen, we'll get into Southampton preview very sure. I've just got a couple more questions before we get there. Alice, what are your thoughts on the Ronaldo Martial situation? I know myself and yourself, we defend Ronaldo like his biggest fanboys on Twitter. So you're probably thinking, what the hell is going on here? Someone's talking about Martial, not Ronaldo. But yeah, what are your thoughts with the Ronaldo Martial? I do hear Jerry's point as well. We've got to use the rotation on the squad as well.
Yeah, it's a weird one because Ronaldo's the better striker, but Martial, I think, works better with our wingers, in my opinion. Because I actually think, Rashford is better when he plays with Martial. If you actually look at all of Rashford's best games, it's been with Martial. Because Rashford dropped off a little bit when we started playing Cavani over Martial, and then obviously Martial wasn't there at all last season, and Rashford was just crap. I always find, if you actually think about the front three and chemistry and link up, Sancho, Rashford, Martial was what was the original plan, because obviously we got Ronaldo last minute, all of that. And I actually think as a team of collective linking up, I think you'll get the best out of Sancho and the best out of Rashford with Martial, because I think they complement each other the best. But the problem is, with Ronaldo, you get goals. With Martial, you don't know if you're going to get the lovely Martial that's just ice cold baller Martial, or as Kojo was saying, is it going to be the Martial that drops? Because as you said earlier, what we always find with Martial is if he's the main man, he's good. He is really good. When you put the confidence into him, making him your main man, that season under Riley where he got 17 non-penalty goals in the Premier League, which was the most non-penalties that season, he was good. He was the main man. He was linking up with Rashford and obviously number 11 at the time. But obviously we've got Sancho in, who's the out-and-out right winger as well. And Sancho will give him a bit more service because he can actually, get assists and stuff. Brilliant. And I do think it's a tough one, because I think you play Ronaldo, you're going to get goals. And I do think if you maybe sign Anthony and maybe, and you want a big physical striker in there and Anthony and Sancho to provide Ronaldo service, maybe Ronaldo's more suited to that. But I just think with Martial, I just find players are better when they play with Martial. I think I love Ronaldo and I'll defend him. And I know Ronaldo's not the issue because he scored all those goals. But I do find that certain players, it was just more fluidity sometimes without Ronaldo, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think it's a fantastic issue to have for Erik ten Hag. I mean, at the end of the day, they bring different things. They bring complete different things to the game. Marcel, as you alluded to, he's got his capabilities of bringing other players into the game. But Ronaldo has that threat in the box, which potentially against the Southampton that might sit back. I don't expect them to sit back too much. But if they do sit back, he'll obviously have the capability similar to what Cavani did when we beat him 3-2 to potentially get a goal out of nothing. And we're probably going to need both of them at some point. We've got Leicester, like Jerry said, next week. So we're going to have to rotate them. We can't be playing Martial every single game because he's potentially injury prone as well. So it is an interesting conundrum for Ten Hag. But for me personally, I think I would personally start Martial. And it's not because I've got him in FPL. But listen, just start Martial Ten Hag, man. I need the FPL points. I'm bottom of the table. Sort me out. He's got a goal in him. But now for me personally, I just think his cameo was absolutely brilliant. And I think, as you said, I think Rashford definitely thrives when Martial's playing alongside him. I think him and Sancho as well, they've got that capability of playing, close football, obviously, in tight areas. With number 11, obviously, that prick. Martial and him were fantastic together. I remember on numerous occasions, they scored a lot of goals just between the two of them in tight spaces, obviously linking up one touch, two touch football. So yeah, for me personally, I would probably start Martial, but at the end of the day, if Ronaldo starts, I'm not going to be mad about it. I mean, who's going to be mad about someone who's got his goal scoring record? You did mention him there very briefly, Alice. I did want to ask regarding Anthony. There is a lot of speculation surrounding Anthony at the moment. Today, there is reports coming out that Hakim Ziyech may not be on his way to Ajax. Therefore, it may have stalled our deal for Anthony. Of course, we don't know what's true. It's just all speculation. But I just want to ask you guys, where does Anthony fit in? For me, it's an absolute no-brainer where he fits in. But I just want to get your guys' thoughts before we talk about another Brazilian, aka Casemiro. Claudio, we'll come to you firstly. As we're talking about the attackers, Anthony, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to happen, and where does he fit in? 3 questions.
I do think it's going to happen because I feel like United will probably drag it out a bit more and end up spending the money probably towards the end of the transfer window. I mean, we're near enough the end anyway as it is. The Ziyech thing doesn't worry me because Ajax are a club that always tends to have many options for transfers anyway. So if they don't get him, they probably will get someone else in. But I think he'll come. And I think he'll be a good addition because I'm a fan of having options. I think that's something that we used to do. I always say that Man City and Liverpool are using the original blueprint that we had because when we won the double in 2008 Premier League Champions League, we added Berbatov to an attack that we thought we didn't need to add another attacker. And he added Berbatov and we got to another Champions League final and retain the Premier League again. And those two clubs are trying to do the same thing with their teams. So if we're going to be successful, we need players like him. If they want to add Gakpo to that as well, I'm not going to be mad at that. I mean, yes, there will be players that might be unhappy with many players being options in their positions. But at the same time, that's what competition is. The best ones will stay at the club and the other ones will not be there. So, yeah, bring Anthony. The fee, the fee's a bit much, but that's not his fault. I can't blame him for that. So I'm not going to put pressure on him for the fee. I'm going to put pressure on him to just perform to the best of his ability. That's what I asked for him. So, yeah, bring him through, man. That'll be a great player to bring to Man United as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's just shout out to Shahid, always tuning into the channel. I appreciate it. Obviously, everyone else in the comments, keep getting questions in. I am reading them, so I do apologize if I missed a few. I do believe that question came from one of our viewers, Jay, that's who it was. But yeah, let's get everyone else's thoughts. For me, personally, it's a no-brainer. I'm not going to lie. The price is extortionate, but that goes without saying. But we need a left-footed attacker. We haven't got one. We're extremely one-dimensional. And Rashford, as we mentioned already, the guy just peaks and troughs galore. He loves a peak and trough in terms of confidence. And not to say this isn't even a peak for Rashford because it could still be a trough because it's just the one goal. Jerry, what are your thoughts on the Anthony situation? Do you think this is a viable signing for us? Do you think we should go for someone else with the money? I mean, we know our good friend Ali is not happy because of the price. Do you think the money would be better suited elsewhere? Maybe Frankie de Jong?
Get it done, man. Just get it done. Listen, we like you said, we need a right-sided, left-footed player. We ain't had that. We haven't had one since number 11. But listen, Ten Hag wants him. That's the thing that's really pushing me to say, let's go and get him because we've seen with Martinez, obviously Ericsson, we've seen with the signings he's made, Malacia as well. If he wants Anthony as well, the boy just got to do what he wants, man. Like just get the player in. I don't know if he comes in, dislodges Sancho off the right, but we need options, man. Like this season, I want to win trophies. I want to get far in competitions. Obviously, Europa League, Carabao Cup, and the league top four. It's going to be a long season. And if you look at our attacking options, what is it? Ronaldo, Martial, Rashford, Sancho, Elanga. We need at least one more. Obviously, you got the youth players, but to add Anthony to that just makes it look like a squad that we can go far in each competition. So for me, and it raises the the competition with the other players. Like Sancho can see him coming and be like, I got to perform. This is Ten Hag's guy. I don't know if he's come to take my place. Then that obviously push Sancho to perform even more. So for me, it's a no-brainer, man. Yeah, the price is the price, but technically it's not my money. Well, it is, but but listen, obviously we can go through the whole glazes and listen. Just pay the money, man. Just get it done. If the manager wants him, get it done, and let's look forward to the season, man.
Yeah, I mean, my question to you, Alice, is in terms of competition within the squad. Obviously, Jerry kind of rattled off some of the players that we currently got. Do you think it's extremely important that we get another attacker in them, be it Anthony, be it Gakpo, wherever it may be? But we need to get another attacker in there because otherwise, the likes of Rashford and Sancho, they're not going to have many people to compete with throughout the season.
Oh, 100%. I think the first game of the season, our bench was like Alanga. And look, Alanga's a workhorse. He'll do what the manager asks him to do, and I'll never criticise Alanga as like a professional. But, you know, if you're bringing Alanga off the bench and you see Man City with their Foden on the bench, you're thinking, yeah, like, you know, there's levels to this. And I just think we do need the depth. Obviously, I think Ronaldo will stay. But if Ronaldo leaves, you're one injury away from Rashford, Sancho, Martial to Alanga to Garnacho. And while they could do a job and they're all right players, you know, a team like United shouldn't be relying on that from the bench. I think Anthony brings in a bit of competition. I think Sancho, you know, I know he's been doing good on the right, but I think he's normally been at his best on the left as well. So you've actually got a proper right winger in there with a left foot. You also, like, Martinez has come in because Maguire seemed to be like this absolutely undroppable thing at United. And Martinez has come in, and it's Martinez is the left centre back. It's between Maguire and Varane for that other spot now, and even Lindelof for that other spot. And I think with Anthony, he comes in and he's the right winger potentially, and that gives Rashford and Sancho, who have been underwhelming the last year, that much needed. Like, oh, we've got to play well if we want to play like a boost, but also Europa League games coming up and all of that. I think, yeah, definitely, we definitely need an attack, even if it's not Anthony. Get a Gakpo because we are thin on the bench. We're an injury away from bringing Garnacho off the bench for attack.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Garnacho might be better than Rashford at the moment. I'm not going to lie. Just because he's got that feelingness, and I love that about him. But I completely hear your point. I think my issue with our players within the previous years is the fact that we have so many players that are extremely complacent. You saw with Luke Shaw. I think he's probably the best example of that. You know, he's been extremely complacent at Manchester United for a long period of time. And then there was that period where Williams actually took his spot at left back. And then when Shaw eventually got his spot back, he was absolutely fantastic for 18 months. And we were like, where's this Shaw been? And he kind of kicked on because of that competition. And obviously now he's become complacent again because quite clearly Telles was nowhere near good enough. And hopefully Malacia, again, gives him that extra kick. And to be honest, it's a bit disappointing that these players have to have that extra motivation. But that's the nature of the players that we've got. I don't think the mentality is there from a lot of these players that they want to win at all costs. You know, you see with Martinez, you know, every second ball, every first ball, the guy would do anything to win the ball. And that's what we need. We need those players that are hungry to win, not just the game, but every single ball. And that's what these extra players will bring as well. But in terms of competition, it's extremely integral at any team, especially at a top team. As Cole just said earlier, we had 4 attackers. I mean, there was a period where Berbatov and Tevez were on our bench, and that's outrageous. And it would be Park. I don't know if Park was at the same period, but Park, Ronaldo, and Rooney, if I might have got my years mixed up, but them 3 would be starting with them 2 on the bench. And you have to breed that competition within the team, regardless of who your favourite players. I love Sancho to bits, but if it means he has to sit on the bench because he's not pulling his weight, then so be it. So for me, Anthony, Gakpo, whoever it may be, we have to bring in another attacker. There's no way that Alanga is the main challenge for these guys' position because they're going to become complacent, whether we like it or not. That's just who they are as players. They've shown us time and time again. This one game doesn't change who they are completely. Hopefully, Ten Hag, with a period of time, can change the mindset, but it's not going to happen overnight. So they're still the same players mentally. So I think we definitely need at least one attacker. But talking of signings, to be quite thoroughly honest with you, obviously today was a day that we finally seen the pictures of Casemiro in the Man United kit. Obviously him in training as well. And it still hasn't sunk in for me personally. I think the reason being is because I'm such a big fan of his that I'm generally not just saying that because we signed him. Him, Cruz, Modric, man, they're the closest thing to Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets for me personally. Obviously, them 3 as a midfield, but untouchable. Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets, obviously. But Cruz, Modric, and Casemiro, what they've achieved in the game, 5 Champions League as a midfield. They've never lost the final when they've played together as well. Unbelievable, unbelievable player and extremely integral. And unlike other pundits that have absolute no ball knowledge, no, he wasn't an okay player. He wasn't just a steady Eddie Graham Souness, bro. Bro, just shut up, man. Honest to God, listen, I basically quote tweeted it and said, put your Champions League medals on the table. Man was chatting to Pogba about medals. Come chat to Casemiro about medals. You can't. So, for me personally, the salt is absolutely beautiful. Everyone's talking about his age. Everyone's talking about his price tag. Fernandinho was 28 when he came to the Premier League, as Kolja told me. What's his name? Kevin De Bruyne is 31. Obviously, Van Dijk's 31. A lot of these players are still doing it in the Premier League. For me, age is just a number in that case with the sports science in this day and age. But Kojo, chat to me. Casemiro, from Scott McTominay to Casemiro. I basically tweeted that is the biggest upgrade in football history. Name me a bigger upgrade because I can't think of one. I need someone to give me one, but that's outrageous.
The quality we've signed here is outrageous. This is a guy that has been key to 4 of the 5 Champions Leagues. That's insane. He was part of the Champions League team that won it 3 years in a row as well. Scored in the final against, I think it was Juventus.
Yeah.
Yep. Scored that long range shot. Listen, we've got a serial winner, and not only that, he's a warrior. The guy don't like losing. He's cut from the same cloth for Sergio Ramos. I'll do whatever it means and whatever it takes to win games. And that's what we need at this club. We need players that are desperate to win games, that have the fire, that have the energy for not only the big games, but even the little games. We don't care. He doesn't care who it is. Casemiro wants to win games. He played the first game for Madrid this season, obviously before he joined us, 4-1 win for them. And he was comfortable. And he ran the show. And there's this idea that, because we signed him, is Ten Hag going away from his pressing style. Right. And if you watched from Madrid last year, whether it was defensive style or attacking style, he aced both styles of football. So if we're playing a pressing style, he will definitely adapt. If we're playing a defensive style,
this comment here, by the way. Oh my days! What was this? What is this about?
I'd rather forget that as a saga.
It didn't happen.
That never happened.
I know what Rabiot's mom. She deserves a statue outside. By the way, just shout it out.
Hey, shout out her, man. I'll take her Nando's when she's in London. But honestly, it's bro, that's a signing and a half. We signed, in my opinion, the best defensive midfielder in the world for the last 5 years. That's my opinion. I don't know what to say after that.
He's without a no. Just to add to that as well, obviously, in terms of what he brings to the team is extremely astronomical in terms of what we had. We didn't have a DM. We've spoken about a million times about McFred. We don't have a DM. To literally signing arguably the best DM in the world, if not the top 3 at push. That no one can say he's not in the top 3. If you don't say he's not in the, if you say he's not in the top 3, you're salty. I'm sorry, but you don't know anything about football. He's clearly in the top 3 currently as well. For me personally, to not have a DM to go to that is crazy. And I think the one thing that you said for me, and you said quite a few things, but his mentality is something that is extremely important to me because we do not have enough players in there that are willing to down the pitch to win a game of football. That is something that we saw against Liverpool. Granted, you can have all the quality you want in the world, but if you don't have the work ethic, you don't have the mindset, you're not going to make it. It's as simple as that. And you saw with Martinez already, okay, granted, it's very early on, but just the thought of Casemiro in front of Martinez, and the fact that both of them warriors, they're willing to fight for every single ball, it's going to be a breath of fresh air. So, Alice, your thoughts before we come to you, Jerry, your thoughts on the signing of Casemiro, and also who do you think should partner him? Because for me, I'm still not happy. I've got to be honest. I've not replaced Pogba, so I'm a bit pissed off about that. But regarding the Casemiro thing, who do you think should be partnering him as well?
So starting with the partnering thing, we've replaced Matic, brilliant. We've replaced Mata with Eriksen, brilliant. We need to replace Paul Pogba. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Spanish media reporting it. I said this in my video earlier. I think they're using it for clicks. I think Frankie de Jong and Casemiro would be brilliant. That would be a dream. I generally say this now. We need another midfielder though. We need a midfielder to partner him. There's Benacer of AC Milan. I read this whole Twitter thread and watched some videos on Maxon Kakare, a player I'd only seen once or twice that apparently could partner him quite well. I quite like the guy that just went to Wolves, Nunes. But, United seem to be sleeping on all these midfielders and then trying to sign Rabiot for some reason because we're idiotic. But I love Casemiro, but we definitely need like a good ball progressive midfielder to partner him. But at the end of the day, you've got McTominay, who, if he wasn't an academy graduate, would probably be playing in the Championship. And now you've got Casemiro. It is one of the biggest upgrades ever. And I've said this now, improving the midfield will instantly improve the attack and defence at United. Because I'm not a big fan of Maguire starting and, Maguire playing. I don't think he should be captain. But I looked at it from the bigger picture and I said, Maguire's a bit of the scapegoat in this fan base, because when we lost 4-0 to Brighton, it was Varane and Lindelof. And I said, it don't matter who plays in defence. Varane is obviously better than Maguire. But I said, because the defence got no protection from that midfield, like, teams would run for us. We were so open. We'd have to break down other teams. But multiple games when teams played against United last season, they'd run through that midfield. I said, at the end of the day, whoever plays in defence for United was going to be shit unless we sorted out that midfield, I always thought, because I think he offers that defensive protection that Fred are meant to offer by covering ground, but they don't. And I think people say he's not brilliant on the ball. He's better than what we have on the ball. I think you've got a good ball player.
Can he be worse than Fred and McTominay generally?
Exactly. Or Martinez. And I just think it's such a good signing. Like, yeah, have we overpaid a bit? Is he 30? Is he long-term? No, but I'm like, this is a DM. If anyone is arguing about Man United signing DM, you're crazy, because unless you want us to spend 150 million on Declan Rice, all the other DMs are gone. It's Casemiro, it's Rodri, who we're not going to get. It's Fabinho, who seems a bit rubbish at the moment, that we're not going to get. Like, what other DMs are there? Chouamene's gone. This is probably the best thing we could buy in midfield, like, realistically.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. In terms of obviously what was available to us, Kamara was obviously available. He's gone to Aston Villa. I know Benji was a big fan of his. I suppose my question to you, Jerry, is there's two questions. There's quite a few good questions coming in the chat, actually. I have seen the Zidane Iqbal one, so I will come back to that very shortly. I don't think personally it's the right time for him, but that's just me. Obviously, I'll let the guys answer that as well. But is there a case, Jerry, I might be playing devil's advocate slightly here, but is there a case we now see a good version of Scott McTominay and Fred? And then just hear me out before this.
Whoa. That just threw me off.
Oh God, I couldn't get my sentence. Right, okay, let me try that again. Right, is there now a case? No,
wow.
Hear me out. Is there now a case? Because like Scott McTominay, he's not a DM, okay? I'm not saying I'm not gonna say he's gonna turn into a good 8 or whatever 6 or whatever number it is next to him. But it's quite clear we're not gonna replace Pogba, as Alice correctly said. Scott McTominay is a box-to-box, and he has got the capabilities of joining attack and scoring goals. I'm not saying starting, by the way. I'm just saying we might see a better version, because obviously he's now got protection with Casemiro. I did see a heat map of McFred and Casemiro. So basically, the heat map last season of where Casemiro predominantly plays is literally in front of the back four. And then I saw the heat map for McTominay and Fred. It was basically everywhere on the pitch. Like, Casemiro doesn't move from that position. He literally stays in where he's meant to stay in DM. Obviously, it goes here, there, occasionally, but predominantly he stays there. So what I'm trying to say, he's actually going to play in his position. We saw with Scott, so everyone's rinsing in the chat. We saw with Scott and Fred, obviously they've had each other, or both quite clearly inept at keeping the position. So Fred in particular, who actually does well for Brazil, might benefit. No, Jerry, just answer the question, because
I don't know where you're trying to land this, bro. I can't lie. Basically, for me,
everyone's rinsing me in the chat. I can't be bothered.
As they should, because you see Scott, yeah. As much as we cuss him, and I'm actually gonna agree with you. Yeah, I like his mentality. Like, obviously people. Wait, coach, don't look at me that, please. Now listen, Scott. Yeah, Scott. He's got that fight in him. Let's be real. We can all agree he's got that. He's on it. Like, he will scrap anyone. But obviously the quality is just at all-time 0.
Listen, can someone just clip that bit where Jerry's gassing up Scott? Just
because I'm telling the truth. Scott, he loves a scrap, and obviously Casemiro sitting in the stands the other day. I'm sure he felt the presence, and he had a good game. So for me, with obviously Casemiro, just talking about the signing, I don't, like you said, it hasn't sunk in yet. With the whole Glazers out, empty Old Trafford, I didn't really react to the signing, but like, obviously with you lot speaking, I just deep to like, we've just gonna sign one of the best DMs in the world, man. 60 million is a bit pricey, but when you think about how much was he really gonna cost, it's not like he's got a year left. I know he's 30, but he's on. I think he's got 2 or 3 years left. So 60 million.
Honest to God, I couldn't care if they give 80 million for him. I'm not gonna lie. We needed that DM so desperately. I was not gonna see another game of McFred for the entire. Oh my god! We just for the entire season again. Like, how much torture did they want us to go through?
You look around the Premier League, you're seeing Morgan Gibbs White going for like 40 million.
Exactly,
Anthony
bro.
Gordon,
50 million for him.
bruv. Anthony Gordon, 60 million.
Exactly, same price as Gordon. So just relax, man. Same price as Ben White as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So I'm not hearing it, man. People are just chatting nonsense. But I suppose my next question, I kind of asked it anyways. But if you guys are looking at this game on Saturday, who are you pairing him with? Basically, is my next question.
I was getting to that.
So that's if Casemiro starts, obviously, for you guys. But it's a bit stupid.
Okay, Scott is bottom of the list, so we're not going to talk about him. Casemiro in the 6. With Casemiro in the 6, it gives Eriksen even more license to go through because obviously he's been playing a double pivot since he's come. So for me, yeah, Eriksen definitely starting, and the one next to him is kind of a toss between Bruno and Donny van de Beek, man. Obviously with a low block, I'm not sure if Bruno. Obviously, he had a decent game against Liverpool. The pressing was good, but if we're playing against Southampton in the low block, I would rather actually play Donny. So I'm going Donny van de Beek, Eriksen, and then Casemiro at the base, man. I think that's a perfect recipe for a perfect midfield. So that's my 3.
Okay, right, okay. I've got to be very honest. That's exactly what I would do, but it's not going to happen. I mean, I know, Alice, you said earlier there wasn't any negatives. I've got to be honest. I was absolutely fuming with Bruno for 90% of the game. He was pissing me off. I mean, he was fantastic. What I will say is he had 2 very different performances. Off the ball, he was actually world class. Like, I can't deny it. He was very, very good. Like, honestly, he deserves the flowers because the guy covered every blade of grass, and I respect it. But I know what? I think people have forgotten he got away with murder. Martinez stopped him from scoring an own goal. What the hell was he doing? What was he doing? It could have been handball as well. I couldn't tell from where I was at, but it looked like it was close to handball as well. But I just don't understand what he was doing. I mean, that's just a mistake, but he got away with that as well. I mean, in general, his passing was shocking. Like, there were so many, obviously, I don't know if you can see on TV with some certain situations, but players like Elanga, for example, the most basic pass to Elanga in behind, and he's hitting it out for a throw-in. And I was like, oh my, and I was sat.
One at the end of the game where I think 10
Oh my god, I swear to God, they scored. Why was he crossing into the box? I swear, because basically I was sat, all Bruno Fernandes fanboys. I was the only one who wasn't a Bruno fan, basically. Everyone was chanting, but he made one tackle, everyone was chanting his name, regardless of I was like, do me a favor, like Roy Keane voice and that. But at the end of the game, just pass the ball into the corner, bro. What are you doing? Man crosses and hits the first man. I was going to fight him. I swear to God. I was like, what are you doing, bro? But luckily, he got away with that one as well. But the point I'm making is, for me, I think I don't think he'll get a drop, but I think for this game, I would prefer Donny van de Beek because he's actually quite neat and tidy on the ball. And I think Bruno Fernandes, although he's got the capable of the individual brilliant moments, and there's no denying that, we've just not seen him for a long time, Alice. Like, what are your thoughts on the midfield 3? What are your thoughts on Bruno? Are you happy with the way Bruno's performing? Where do you sit with the whole situation?
My opinion on Bruno is he's a brilliant player with a frustrating play style, and he needs to kind of be coached and adapt his game. You know, you don't get those numbers, goals and assists if you're crap. My problem isn't with Bruno the player, it's with Bruno the play style, the frustrating, like, just do the simple pass, not always the hero ball, not always trying to make something crazy happen. And I think with United, we're in a position where I think we do need to go back to basics a little bit more and possession football a little bit more. And I think if you have Donny and Eriksen instead of Bruno, it helps sort of keep the ball better, sustain a bit of momentum. And I think that's what we've needed to go back to because we've been so poor on the ball recently. Obviously, Liverpool were decent, but Ten Hag likes possession. And with me, I think Bruno needs maybe a little bit of a kick up the arse because I think he has been underwhelming. I don't doubt Bruno's capabilities whatsoever. And, for me, the highlight of him versus Liverpool was actually watching the Liverpool fans' reactions to him taking the ball. Like how, honestly, I love him as a character and I love him off the ball. And I actually think he's such a talented player, but it's his play style that frustrates me. And it's kind of like one of those things where he needs to change his play style to suit the team because he was so good under Ollie because Ollie was sit back, counter-attack and make a moment of magic happen. And Ollie would say to Bruno, I need you to make a moment of magic happen. And we became Moments FC, second half FC. and it was all about like individual brilliance under Ollie. But now you've got a manager like Ten Hag in, it's about playing as a team in this whole way. So for me, I would play Casemiro. I'd play Donny alongside Casemiro in that box-to-box role, because I actually think Donny's better in the box-to-box role. And I would play Eriksen more advanced. And I think if we need a goal, if it's 1-1, you bring on Bruno, because you know he can get you that kind of goal and a thing. But I would start with Eriksen and Donny next to him.
Yeah, I mean, I just think for me personally, I think Donny is better suited for this game, and that's not. I'm almost entertaining it with knowing that's not going to happen. So it's almost a null and void conversation. But I think with the Bruno Fernandes conversation, we've got someone here saying I think Bruno suits Klopp's system more. Not sure how, but a lot of love for Bruno in the chat. Obviously, keep getting your comments in. Obviously, keep slapping a like and obviously subscribe to the channel if you are new. But yeah, regarding the Bruno Fernandes situation, what I will say is, right, as I've already said, I've got to commend him for what he did off the ball, because it was very unselfish. He was very unselfish off the ball. And I'm hoping on the ball, he could just be a bit more clinical. He should have got an assist. Obviously, Alanga hit the post. So he would have got an assist, and maybe people will be talking differently of him. But yeah, for me, he's got to tidy up his game, his decision making in the final third. There was a period in the game, I don't know if it was in the second half or the first half, but it might have been 10-15 minute period. The ball kept going to Bruno, and he was killing every single attack we had. It was just all he needed was basically what Alanga and Eriksen did. All was a simple bog standard 1-2, nothing too flashy. That's all Bruno needs to do. Just 1-2, keep it simple, and don't overplay it. And he, for whatever reason, he's trying these Hollywood passes. And I know Eriksen tried them, but with Eriksen, he has that extra bit of quality, and you saw it. Should have got an assist as well. Obviously, on a different day, he would have. But yeah, for me personally, Bruno Fernandes, just keep it simple, man. But I would actually start Donny. I actually think Jerry's spot on with his lineup. But Kojo, what are your thoughts on the midfield situation? Obviously, I've already asked you about Casemiro, and then we'll just get a quick what's everyone's thoughts on the game and score prediction to wrap it.
Yeah, the only change I make is McTominay for Casemiro. And I mean, I'm not disagreeing with what you guys say about Bruno Fernandes, because he pisses me off as well, to be quite frank.
What's this? Someone just put Anthony's deal dead in the water. I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Well, I guess we'll have a look soon. But
and then the comment below is saying we will get Anthony.
Yeah, because there's even a time where I think it might be in the second half or the first half where he should have cleared the ball. He tried to dribble his way out.
And he lost it. Oh, man.
And I was like, oh, man, no, not again. But the only reason I'd play him is because, and the worrying thing about Donny van der Beek is we're hardly seeing him. And I'm not saying that because he's his former manager that I should expect to see him on the pitch, but we're not seeing much of him, if any. And there has to be a reason for that, whether he's not training well, whether he's not match fit, whether he's just not convincing Ten Hag that he's better to play in a role than Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro coming in is now a problem as well, because that's the guy that will actually be on.
I think Casemiro might help Donny. I'm not going to lie to you, Kojo.
He could
because do. I think he's more likely to play with 2 8s, which would suit Donny more than maybe playing directly in a 10, if that makes sense. Obviously, with the creative.
Yeah, I think if Donny's going to start, I do agree with you. He has to start with Eriksen. I would play Eriksen in the same role that he played, because his ability to pass is ridiculous, long and short. And the way he was finding Sancho in space from like near enough defensive positions and helping us start attacks in positions where we wouldn't start them in the past, because, I mean, Pogba was not really match fit most of the time, so we couldn't really do that on a consistent basis. I think he helps there, and Casemiro being there will just make sure that he doesn't have to worry about anyone not being in a position to defend just in case, because as good as Scott McTominay played, he still didn't really hold his position. He wasn't really a defensive player. He was still roaming about a lot, finding himself on the right side. The issue with Bruno Fernandes is, as frustrating as he is, off the ball, as you said, was brilliant. And he still has the ability to get goals. And his goals have dried up, but he has the ability to get goals. And if, whoever the striker is not getting goals, or the wingers are trying to make something happen, is not happening, the next person you look to is Bruno Fernandes. And he is a goal getter. So, look, if I'm being honest, I want us to sign one more quality midfielder so he has an actual problem, because he's still untouchable in that midfield. But I think he's still got to start. And maybe Eriksen and Casemiro. Casemiro is undroppable. I don't want to see him
unless
it's Carabao Cup.
I've seen people entertaining the thought of him not starting. I'm sorry, no, he's starting. I mean, he better. No excuses. He better start. He's been playing for Real Madrid. He's had a preseason. He dropped a man of the match in the Super Cup final. It's not like he's not ready to play. I mean, Southampton away. Like end of the day, he has to start for me. I'm not going to be happy with Ten Hag if he starts Scott McTominay over Casemiro. To be quite frank, or Fred for that matter, whoever it may be. But yeah, for me personally, fair play to Kojo. I don't begrudge Bruno Fernandes, but I just think he needs to be dropped just to have that bit of incentive to get back in the team because he's kind of getting away with it, to be honest. But obviously, he's not going to get dropped now that he's captain. But listen, we're going to get into our score predictions. Get your comments in down below. Obviously, your thoughts on how the game will pan out. Of course, this is for our 12:30 kickoff against Southampton on Saturday. Jerry, we'll start with you. So how do you think the game's going to pan out? If you just want to give a quick synopsis, maybe a minute or so, and then obviously your score prediction.
Yeah, the 12:30 is worried me, man. But I hope that we continue the same intensity like the Liverpool game and start well, man. We need that first goal. If we don't get the first goal, I can't lie, I don't see us winning.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because when was the last time we came back from a deficit? I can't remember the last time.
Probably against Southampton, to be fair.
Wow. So, yeah, man, I think fast start. Yeah, and then we should put them to bed, man. It doesn't matter who actually starts up front. We're a better team than them. Southampton, yeah, they won their last game against Leicester, but I think we'll have too much room, especially if Casemiro starts. That'll give the team a big boost anyway. So for score prediction, clean sheet. Nah, I don't trust this team yet. 3-1 United.
Oh,
man.
wow. Okay, interesting. Alice, over to you. What are your thoughts of how the game's going to pan out in your score prediction?
It's just with United, you just don't know which one's going to turn up. The crap United, the good United, are they going to be up for it? I feel like we're the hardest team to predict at the moment because we could get battered, we could have a draw, we could have a win. I think, as you said, if we score first goal, right?
He's double from Bruno and celebrates.
But it's like, if we can see first, I don't know. I do feel like we might have a clean sheet, though. I do. I actually feel like we might finally get a clean sheet. So I am going to.
Are you forgetting Ward-Prowse and De Gea's antics? Listen.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Ward-Prowse. Yeah. We've got Ericsson though. Yeah.
We are crap at We are crap at defending set pieces. That's the thing. And De Gea, I'll go 2-1 United. Actually, I think we'll concede such a stupid goal because we always do.
That's really. There's 2-2. No what? Now that someone's put that in my head, I'm seeing it happen. Like I don't want to say that because I predicted the Liverpool game, so I don't want to say nothing like that. Kojo, you've heard what both no clean sheets by the sounds of it. Are we gonna have a clean sweep of no clean sheets, Kojo? What do you reckon?
I think we're having a clean sheet. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think we're getting a clean sheet. Jerry,
I can't see it. Yeah,
the reason why I think we're going to get a clean sheet is because I'm trusting him to start Varane and Martinez. If I see any other alternative name in there, I'm not going to say no.
What if Maguire's starting? What if Maguire?
I said I'm not going to say any names. I just said alternative names. If I see any other alternative names in there, then I'm going to be stressed. That's the same thing for left back as well. But that's a better start. If I see other alternative names in there, I'm not gonna be happy because I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna say this in my chest. If we started two certain Englishmen at left back and centre back, no names, we would not have won that game. Just gonna say that now. So
Phil Jones though.
Those guys have to play, but I am gonna go for a 3-0 win. And
wow.
And hear this.
Goal scorers.
I'm going for a Martial double and a Ronaldo goal.
No, if that happens, yeah, my fancy football is going to be beautiful. Jerry, Dory, it's not going to happen.
Worried? You should be wearing your bottom, bro.
I'm getting relegated in FPL. Listen, I'm not doing any FPL shows because I'm so far last. If anything, whatever I say in the show, do the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm on an absolute mare. But listen, obviously, it's still got to come through with the Martial and that. But I'm actually going to agree with Jerry. I've gone 3-1 as well, actually. I think we're definitely going to concede. I think as soon as you said Ward-Prowse, I got PTSD. I mean, Lord have mercy. Every time he's on the set piece, actually, now that I think about it, Scott McTominay better not play because that guy gives so many dumb free kicks away. It's unreal. The guy just doesn't learn. I just don't get it. he gives stupid free kicks away every single game when they've got his board prowess, and he always scores. Like, I don't understand that all these guys are ever going to learn. So yeah, I'm going to say 3-1 as well. Goal scorers, I think Rashford will probably score again because he loves a purple patch, don't he, really? I'm going to say Rashford. I'm going to say Bruno, actually. I'm going to say Rashford, Bruno, and go on. I've got to have to say Marseille because I did buy him an FPL in it for a reason. And I think for them, it's probably going to be Che Adams because he always loves bullying us. But yeah, listen, that is the end of the show. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it. Obviously, we'll be back next. I was about to say next week, but I just realized we're playing on Saturday. So we'll be back on Saturday with the watch along for the game against Southampton. So feel free to join us for that. Hopefully, some positivity to start the week. Obviously, us and 12:30 kickoffs don't go hand in hand, but we're going to make a difference now with a new manager. As always, get your comments in. Obviously, show love to all our guests. Everyone's links are in the description, so all the channels are there. Please go and feel free to subscribe to the channels. As I've already said, Alice is in the title as well. Jerry's is not, neither is Kojo, so go in the description. I ran out of characters, lad. Sorry, I do apologize. But please do subscribe to their channels as well as mine. But in case you can't read for whatever reason, Kojo, tell the people where they can find you, bro.
Yep, free midfield on all the socials and all the audios, YouTube, the match report. There's a bit of a rebrand coming, so the free midfield will be no more. But the original two, the original two will still be there. But for now, still free midfield.
Okay. But it is the match report on YouTube, just so you don't get confused. So if you do see the match report, that is Kojo. Jerry, let the people know where they can find you, my brother.
Yeah, Twitter handle right there on the YouTube United Team Talk. And yeah, man, listen, this season I'm happy. Listen, beating Liverpool. Beating Liverpool, I feel like I don't want to say we won the league.
I think Jerry wants to say we're collecting, but he's just holding back. Jerry, you've got
hey. When the window closes, then I'll speak.
Okay. We'll see. If you don't know Jerry's famous quote, we said we're gonna win the treble last season, sorry. Obviously that panned out the way it panned out. But last but not least, Alice, let us know where the people can find you.
Alice Talks Football on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Should all come up. Cheers for having me on the show, Usman. Always love coming on.
Absolute pleasure. As always, make sure you subscribe to everyone's channels. Regarding myself, Usman Talks United without the S because I've been banned about 100 times. So Usman Talk United. Yes, I know it doesn't make sense. So follow me on Twitter and TikTok as well. We'll be posting on there like a normal human being because I'm finally off work. Apart from that, it's been your boy Usman. Potentially back tomorrow. If not, definitely on Saturday. We'll see you then with another 3 points.